Hey everyone, welcome to another session of Conversations with Courageous Cancer Warriors. And I have a treat for you today. We're going to be diving into the world of healing music through frequencies. So, if you would please welcome Mark Romero. Hi, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to connect today and have our little experience.
Yeah, I am so excited for this conversation because this is something that I use daily and I know nothing about it. I just know it helps me. So I'm going to pick your brain today and have our listeners understand what it means to use healing sounds to support their journey. So tell me a little bit of how you got started.
Well, I started with music back in high school. Went and saw a rock concert, was inspired, and then proceeded to torment my father. Give me a guitar for my birthday, man. And he did, I think, quite honestly, just to quiet me up and stuff. So I picked that thing up. It was love at first strum. So it became a hobby and was just something that I did. I did not have this grandiose vision of becoming a rock star or certainly not getting into the music and energy healing arena. It was just something that I did for fun. I jokingly would say, I had the best concerts in the safety of my bedroom at home. And it was purely a selfish thing that I did for me. But it's funny how things in life kind of unfold and kind of get us into things. And I got into this arena. I started doing motivational speaking with guitar. I was doing this little talk called Play Beautiful Music Throughout Your Life, getting hired at associations and doing these yearly meetings and different things, which was really cool. And then it really took a turn in a completely different direction when I got connected to a former consultant to NASA that discovered, quote, healing frequencies in my music, which just put me down a pathway that I could have never had imagined prior to that.
Wow, that's incredible. So I love the fact that you're having mini concerts in your room, right? I think we could all relate to that because we've all done something similar. So, how did you make this leap from rocking out in your room, being like the best person ever? I'm sure you're really good at Guitar Hero, by the way. And how did you then like realize that this can be something people can benefit from?
It's sometimes is it me or sometimes does it feel that life kind of pushes us and shoves us in certain directions that we would have never gone down if it wasn't for the shoving. And how that kind of I'm a recovered CEO. I left the corporate world. I was burned out after 19 years. I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I need to do something with meaning and fulfillment. I want to be able to contribute something into the world. So I left, and how I originally saw that was being a speaker. So I started doing these speaking and golf events, totally contrary to where I'm at today. And the lady that was helping coach me in my speaking platform, I sent her a CD that I had made for fun and just to send it to her. She calls me up, "What is this?" I'm like, going, "What's my CD?" She goes, "You didn't tell me you played guitar." I go, "What does that got to do with my speaking?" "Everything. You're doing music and speaking together." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." "No, I'm not." We went back and forth. And of course, she was very, let's just put a talk on the website. And then nobody called about the golf thing. Everybody called about the speaking and music thing. So that's how I started integrating music and speaking together with this overall idea of how we can restore harmony in our lives, how we can tune the strings of our life experience so that we can bring our music, our passion, our callings out to a higher level. And then just by chance, I'm at a wellness event. I got asked to come play. I'm done playing. This woman comes up to me and she goes, "I hear these tones in your music." And I'm looking at her, I'm going, "Oh, she's going to get weird." I could just tell. And then she she gets right up in my face and she goes, "And nobody can hear the tones but me." And I'm like, "Yeah, I knew it." And she goes, "Listen, I know these scientists. Can I get a CD from you?" I'm giving her a CD. Maybe she'll go away. Maybe she won't bother me anymore. Little did I know that that kind of crazy interaction opened up the door to getting connected to a former top consultant to NASA who invites me to this lecture on quantum physics and energy and consciousness, which I had never heard of at this particular point in time. I show up there with my guitar. They ask me to bring my guitar. I'm blown away at what I'm hearing. And then halfway through the program, they have me come up and start playing. and I see people's physical energy shift instantly in front of my eyes. I'm like, going, what? This is kind of freaky. I literally freaked me out. I went home kind of not sure what I had experienced. And that whole experience opened up the door to finding a whole new way that I could impact people's lives through music and through intention and through process, and use music and energy healing and sound and frequency to help ultimately help people to heal their lives and expand their awareness and manifest the life of their dreams.
I love this. Talk about being at the right place at the right time. Like the universe literally set you up for a home run on that.
Yeah, it was an interesting whole how it unfolded. Like I said, I could not have visualized or imagined any of that at that point in time, especially since, I'd never really thought to look at myself as anything more than who I saw in the mirror, flesh and bone and all that good stuff. And then going to this lecture and realize that there's so much more to us than what we experience through our senses. And it really
Yeah.
transformed my life on so many levels.
I love that. I love that. So tell me a little bit how it works. How is music at certain frequencies healing?
Well, I guess to answer that question the best way, we have to go what puts us into a state of non healing or a state of disharmony or a state of dis ease.
Mhm.
And that's what this whole lecture was about. So, in a nutshell, we have a ton of miscreations that we put into our environment, into our airspace, into our air, food, and water, and into the air waves that negatively impact our energy field. So there's up to 80,000 man-made chemicals in our air, food, and water. We all have the latest and greatest technology that has become so much part of our lives. We have Wi-Fi in our homes. We have 5G, 4G, 3G, smart meters, all these disruptive waves that impact this beautiful field of energy that makes up who and what we are. We have this thing called the biofield. The esoterics love to call it the aura. The people from NASA call it the biofield. And that biofield conducts how you function as a human being, your mental qualities, your physical health and well-being. Well, all this stuff in the environment is putting us into a perpetual state of stress and disrupting our energy and negatively impacting our quality of life. In fact, these scientists were sure that this huge rise in neurological disorders like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and the cancers and different things that have been on this huge increase are because of these energy disruptors. So they discovered frequencies in the music. When the music plays, it has the ability to tune the energy field regardless of what the individual is being exposed to. So it's almost a way where you can be in the world but not negatively impacted by it. So I'm looking at this and I'm witnessing it in front of my eyes because through the demonstrations, they showed how things we use every day, like a cell phone or like a furniture polish or something like that, put us into a weakened state and compromise our energy. When the music plays, all of a sudden the individual, the listener, becomes strong. They're no longer compromised by these negative influences in the environment. So, and as I've come to learn today, it is essential for us to rise above these vibrational barriers in our environment to restore health, harmony, to expand our awareness, and to remember who we really are. So that's how I got introduced. So when the music plays in the space, it actually null and voids all those energy disruptors in our environment, including the most powerful energy disruptor of them all, which happens to live between our ears.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So the first thing that comes to mind for me is one, I'm a believer, right? I also believe it's that feeling you get when you hear certain music, you feel the energy shifting within you. But how, so for people who are looking to heal themselves, what's the standard amount of time that they need to listen to it? Or do they need to have headphones in all day and, have it be a force field, for a lack of a better way to say it? Like, how does that work?
That's the beauty of it is that you don't need to have headphones. You don't even need to consciously listen to the music. You just play it in the space. And this is the part that always gets people a little bit crazy. What do you mean? The ear does not even need to hear the music in order to see the physiological shifts take place in the body or to tune the energetic field. Sound that we perceive through our ears is a very minute spectrum of vibration that we can receive through that particular sense. But sounds exist outside of that, and your body, your energy field is listening to what's beyond your ears. So I tell people just play it in the space, turn it down low if you're on calls or whatever, or just play it in the background and go about your day. Play it in your space, play it in the car while you're driving or dealing with traffic or whatever, and it will definitely tune and harmonize your energetic field, giving you all the benefits of such.
Yeah, I love it. So I started playing it as I sleep, and my sleep has not been as good and as restorative as when I have this music. I could literally feel the difference when I don't. So at first, my significant other was like, "What are we doing?" I'm like, "We're going to be listening to high frequency music." So, what is the best frequency, let's say, for, so the frequencies are at different frequencies. Like, what are there? I know I'm such a
No,
poet
I love
here.
that's a deep statement you just made. Actually, there's a way you can really bring it down to earth is that, imagine those old AM FM radio dials where you would have 88.5 down here and
Yeah.
108.5 up here and all these frequencies in between.
Yeah.
You can tune in to different frequencies just like on a radio station. So we were talking prior to the call about 440 versus 432, for example. So 440 is actually everything's tuned to 440 nowadays. And there's research out there and different pieces that are available saying that 440 is actually a disharmonious frequency. It actually puts listeners into a more stressful state. It actually puts and compromises the energetic field of the body. 432 was what we were tuning instruments to prior to World War II. Now, according to the research I've done, was that 440 was an instrument until Germany during World War II, that music was tuned to 440 and played into the public space. And then later it was adapted as the primary way of tuning music through actually an organization in the United Kingdom that kind of set the foundation for that. So there's a lot of information coming out about that. I personally tune to 432 because 432 is like in harmony with the universe. If you're a mathematician, you can do research on how 432 actually harmonizes with pi and actually harmonizes with with nature in the environment. So it's not really to me, it's like the frosting on the cake. So there's an energy that's coming through the music, but 432 it's like, and that's the cake, but 432 is like adding this beautiful frosting on the cake, which just makes it just this wonderful thing that can really help people to heal.
I love that. And I thank you for explaining it that way. Like it makes absolute sense. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, there's so many questions that I have for you because this topic is amazing. Now, for somebody that is going through hardship, for somebody that is looking to keep a positive mindset, for somebody who's really just wanting to affect some positive change in their life, is 432 the answer then?
It can certainly help, but there are definitely other components that come before that. I mean, it's like, so I'll give you an example. One of my most favorite emails of all time was from a woman, and she said, "You know what? Is there any way that you can make a piece of music that'll make my husband a better man?" That's like my favorite. Being a husband, I understand why that question was asked. It's like, oh, that's a good one. If I could do that, move over Michael Jackson, I'll take over on the charts and stuff. But I said, you know what? I could play the most beautiful piece of music in the universe. But unless your husband is willing to set the intention to become a better man and to change his experience and to change his life, it won't matter. I can tune his field. Okay, that's just part of the process. But when it comes to letting go of disempowering beliefs, when it comes to letting go of negative patterns and negative energy that we all hold within ourselves, they got to be on board. And that means they got to be willing to set the intention and to process emotional energy and to actually be willing to step into their power to change their energy and to move the things out of themselves that are no longer serving them anymore. And then realize also through that process, kind of like breathing, we exhale what no longer serves us and we breathe in what gives us life. We can also plant the seeds for what it is that we want to create.
I love that. I love that you said that so eloquently and it makes total sense. So, guys, those of you who are listening, trying to change other people, it's not going to happen through the music.
Anybody that comes to me with any kind of relationship thing and say, hey, can you change it? I said, if you want to change your relationship, you have to change yourself
Yeah.
because your relationship is marrying back things that you need to work on within yourself, whether it's resolving old issues or, releasing your own negative energy. You
Mhm.
can't make another person change.
Yeah.
It's always pointing back to ourselves, which of course can be very upsetting for people.
But it's such a great thing to think about because we don't often view it that way, that it's a mirror. And a lot of what our listeners are going through is like self confidence issues. There's a lot of anger that they have because of how life's path has brought them. It takes us a while to get through that and to process it. And you have to be willing to do the work, as you say. For me, it took me about a good 2 years to be like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where life has brought me. And one of the struggles I had, having been, a PA working on the front lines with metastatic cancer patients, was that I recognized that being in that role no longer served me
Hmm.
because I couldn't be of service at the level that I wanted to for them because I was trying to heal myself. And my
Right.
ego really held on to that. They're like, no, like you worked so hard to get here. You should stay here. And so a lot of times people have a really hard time letting go. And
Hmm.
part of the connection that I'm making here with your music is that this is really something that can support you in releasing all these emotions that you have. Music for me is emotional.
Yes.
I need music in my day every day. It's something that makes me feel alive. It makes me feel vibrant. It makes me feel free. So I seek it out. And I think that's why this frequency conversation for me is really one that I absolutely love because I understand the power of music. So for those of you who are just embarking in this, thinking about adding this to your lifestyle, because we're talking about a lifestyle here, um, I would really invite you to go to Mark's website to download a snippet of his music. It's a free healing piece of music that has visuals with it too. That is a really great introduction to what is possible with this music. So, Mark is gifting us a little sneak peek as to what he provides. Mark, you said that you would potentially play for us
Yes,
today.
absolutely.
I
And
would
I just
love for you to do this.
and yes, in the piece I'm going to play, it's called Opening. And as I started developing and working with the music, I learned and realized and discovered that I could create pieces of music with different intentions behind them to help people embody that state, either to release something or to embody a way of being. So, like, I think the first music, I call them musical mantras. And the first musical mantra I created was on forgiveness, on how to forgive others, because that's such a key piece in our healing and transformation. But everything starts with our willingness and our openness, so to speak, to be able to set the intention to heal, to set the intention to let go of what's no longer serving us, to set the intention to build more confidence, or whatever it might be that you're looking to create within yourself. So I always love to share this piece because it's it's a powerful one and everything begins there. If we realized how powerful our intentions are, we would be like very careful about what it is that we intend in our lives because that sets the creative process in motion. So this is a great piece to just kind of open up to what it is that you'd like to create, what it is that you'd like to experience, whether that is more healing, whether that is to revitalize your health, whether that is to help, harmonize your relationship with others or family members or significant other. Whatever it is, you decide. You have better clarity than any of us what it is that you actually want to create in your life. You're the composer, you're the conductor. This is about opening up to that power to be able to start consciously creating your life. So, with that being said, I invite you just to take some nice deep breaths, and I'll guide you through with some prompts and stuff to help you kind of plant the seeds for what it is that you want to grow. So, just deep breathing. And just imagine breathing in the notes. The notes of opening. Opening to your magnificence. Your spirit. And your power. So as you continue to breathe, just ask yourself, what would I most love to create and open up to in my life? And whatever that is, just set the intention to do so and just breathe it in. Deep inhale. So just take a open mouth inhale, open mouth, let it go, and begin to bring yourself back to this time, back to this space. So there you go, a little opening for you.
Oh, that was incredible.
Mm.
I found myself literally being able to feel every single note. And you
Nice.
created such a peace within me. And when you asked me to set the intention, it came so clearly because of the space that you created.
And your observation and what you just shared is really a great analogy for what happens when you play the music in the space. Is that we're so impacted by things in our environment that it's almost like we filled our environment with static and noise. And it's like, have you ever been on the edge of town, you're leaving town, you're listening to your favorite song on the radio, you get further away, it starts getting static and noise in it, right? It doesn't sound right. You can't hear everything. When you clear the static and noise out, it is so easy to not only enhance your ability to feel, to sense things, to notice things, but it also it removes the resistance out of the way where you can easily set intentions, where you can easily reduce your stress. and just reducing stress itself, which is a huge benefit of playing the music in the space. How much more able are you to go into that space within yourself, whether you're meditating or praying or whatever it is that we do, journaling, activity, writing down goals and objectives for the day. It's just a way to be able to get tuned in to that self, that part of yourself that isn't, being negatively impacted by all this noise in our space.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You can never leave me.
I'm just going to serenade you, right?
Please, please. Let's set a time and place every day, and I'll
Right.
meet
We'll
you
just
right
do a
here.
concert.
Honestly, that was one, you're just such a talented musician. And two, when you set the intention like you did for us with this beautiful piece that you just played, it really just created such a shift. And this world needs you like now, like no other time.
Like
So
now more than ever, it seems
more
like with
than
the way
ever.
things are.
More than ever. Exactly. Like I'm even at a loss for words because I don't want to lose this feeling that I have within me.
Well, and
So
you don't have to,
it's
because
just
who
wonderful.
generated the feeling? You did. It's not, yes, the music helps to create that, but you on some level created that state of being within yourself. And you can create that at any time you
Love it.
want. It's up to you.
I love
So,
it.
but, I think that's just a beautiful piece. And I just wanted to share this because this one little piece opening is just be extra observant of what you see showing up in your life. Look for those little reoccurring, you know, themes or issues or any synchronicity that shows up. Take that on and just see how life talks back to you. And then I always recommend really set, your intention in motion, whatever it was. Random little acts of sprinkling self-love upon yourself. Treat yourself with love and kindness and compassion and look to see what opens up for you and follow the breadcrumbs that are going to lead you on the journey.
Love that. I love that. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
having me.
And how can people find you?
Hey, well, you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, primarily YouTube is my where I spend most of my time at Mark Romero Music. And then, of course, if you're interested in working with that track, I invite you to come to the website, markromeromusic.com. Once again, Mark with a K, Romero music.com. It's one of my most favorite pieces. It's entitled The Journey, and it's really to support us in our journey through life. So if you're feeling stressed, feeling a little bit burdened, feeling like you got to move, I invite you. You can download it. You can watch it on your computer or portable device. Breathe in the notes. You'll be able to instantly be able to shift your state of being.
Yes. Thank you. You are such a gift.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me.